Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beautifully Bruised in the CPS show. I am so glad that you are here, tuned in with us today. I do believe we have a show that is definitely a show that is, we've had many great guests that have came on and gave us great testimonies and stories of what they're dealing with, and just so many different people going through so many similar situations, but still many are unique in their own way. So I just wanted to come on here today. I am your host, Latrika Jones. Again, I thank God. I always give credit where credit is due, which is to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Anyone that watches the show that know I always, before I, go too far into the show, I like to start out giving thanks, to God for another day, another chance, another opportunity to get things right. And you can't take life for granted. Each day is brand new grace and mercy. So truly grateful for God, as well as this platform, Attorney Vince, for me coming on to share my story, overcoming CPS, and Grace, the producer, and the teamwork make the dream work. Okay, so it takes a village to raise a child. So it's the same thing when you're trying to push a vision to help people to be better. So again, without further ado, today is Freedom Friday, right? It's a day where you can, I don't know what kind of week you've had. I must share that I haven't been on in a few days. I was feeling a little under the weather, but by the grace and mercy of God, I do feel better, and I'm ready to move forward and keep moving forward with the vision and sharing stories and learning and growing together. Because like I've always said, knowledge truly is power, and that in transparency transforms. So again, I love this platform, and that's what it's here 24/7. You can tune in at any given moment to be inspired, to be encouraged, uplifted, and hopefully learn something through hearing other people's stories. Because it's amazing that the same thing somebody else is going through is something that you might can learn from and apply it to your very own life. So with that being said, again, thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited that you are, taking your time out of your busy schedule, and you wanted to invest it and share with us on today. So I don't take that for granted as well. So without any further ado, I just wanted to come on here today and speak on something that I know that it has actually been something that has affected me as well as others. And it's basically, it might seem simple, but it actually has a strong punch to it if you really think about the essence of what it truly means. So without any further ado, I would like to call this show today, it's going to be dealing with determination. It's going to be dealing with some days you might feel tired. Some days you even might want to feel like giving up. You might feel exhausted. No matter what that may look like in your own personal life, I have some information today, and I have a great video of footage that I think will make you think twice. Hopefully will make you reconsider throwing in the towel and whatever that may be. So without anything else being shared, there is a video that I like to start my show out with today. And if the video is available, Grace, I would like to go ahead and start now.
Is it unlocked?
It's already pushed.
Is it unlocked? Is it unlocked?
Yeah.
Better be. Y'all can't do that. You know that. You know better. Let's go. Let's go. Keep going. Come on, you come on in too.
No. You can't take the baby.
Yes,
we can.
Take the baby.
I'm sorry.
There's no court order.
Okay.
Do you have a court order?
As far as we know, you cannot take the baby.
There's no court order.
This is going to be an actual.
There's no court order, sir.
Okay.
CPS does not
Could
have
be
a
in
court
the
order.
orders. I got no problem.
CPS doesn't have a court
That's
order,
fine.
do they?
That's fine. As far as we know, the infant is not allowed to leave.
That's not true, sir.
That is
You're
absolutely
legally detained.
They already told me I could check him out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So as far as we know, this is a CPS case.
Who is we?
As far as the hospital is informed.
She hasn't even been given a
Okay.
card.
Okay.
from a social worker. So how do we know who that lady is?
Okay. So also I'm gonna have to ask you to stop filming.
I can't.
You can. I'm gonna have to ask you to stop
The
filming.
lawyer said
That's
film
against our
everything.
policy. Okay.
It's not against the
It is
law.
against our policy.
It's not
It
against
is.
the
It
law.
actually is a HIPAA violation as well. Ma'am, unfortunately, you cannot leave with the infant. I understand it's a tough situation.
No, you need a court order.
I understand
There's
it's a
no
tough
court
situation.
order. Talk to me,
But ma'am,
sir.
you cannot leave with the infant.
There's no court order. Is there a court order?
Fifth floor pavilion already.
Is there a court order, sir? Is there a court
It's still in
order?
their possession.
Is there a court order? There's no court order, sir.
Can you step right
You
here?
are in violation of her constitutional rights, every one of y'all, and you're all party to it. You are illegally detaining a person, a child. Yeah, all of y'all, all of y'all.
Unfortunately,
Every one of y'all are part of this.
so it is not.
You
I'm
have
on
to-
the
you
elevator
have to let the
with
child
the
go.
infant.
You have to let the child go.
Unfortunately,
that.
not.
If you do not have a court order, you cannot contain this child. That's the law. Under what authority are you trying to detain this child?
Ma'am,
And the mother.
as far as we're informed,
And the
this is
mother.
a CPS
It
case.
is not a
So we
CPS
are
case.
not allowed to let
She
the
has
infant leave.
no documentation.
We are not allowed to let the infant
Show me the
leave.
CPS
You would
documentation.
have to speak to the nurse.
Let's go to the supervisor.
We shall not.
Let's go to the hospital
We will not.
administrator.
They can meet you up here, but I will not.
Well,
let
they
you
need to
leave
come
with
in
that
real
infant.
quick.
As soon as you leave the elevator.
They need to come real
As
quick.
soon as you leave the elevator.
They need to come real quick.
As soon as you leave the elevator.
So now you're detaining us in the elevator.
Absolutely not.
Yes, you
but
are.
that infant is my. That
You're-
infant
It's
is my
not
focus.
yours. Is
I'm
what?
responsible for protecting the infant. As
No,
far as I know,
I am responsible
this
for
is a
protecting
CPS
this
case
family.
where the infant cannot leave.
No, it's not. That's a lie. So I need a I need a court order. Either a court order right now or they're gone. And you don't have a court order. Nobody has a court order, ma'am. This is being on alarm right now. You're being live. So it's going to the news. It's going to the news. It's being broadcast right now. So y'all have no court order. Goodbye. You have no court order, sir. No court order. There's no court order. Yep. Bye. Bye. Bye.
They can't.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Yes.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you, ma'am. No, hey, don't talk. Let me talk. Thank you. Thank you for your help. Let's go. Mama, Grandma, baby, and Grandpa. This is how we do it.
This is Jim.
Okay. Can we go down to one? Thank you, Mama. Put the baby in the car with you, with the car seat. Y'all,
Kayla right with me. You're right with me.
which way is that? Left. Left. Pour it all the way out. You can put your phone up. You can put your phone up. Just take care of the baby. Have a nice day. You look familiar. You've been here a long time, haven't you? Are you a candy striker? No? Volunteer? I thought so. I've seen you here before. Gotta take the park. Let's go.
Gotta take the parking. You can do it at the machine. I can do it at the machine.
Let's go. Fast as it. Let's go. Keep this baby off the damn line. Keep the baby in the hopper. Not on my watch, said you.
Yeah, right there at the end.
All right, where you park? Yeah, we go park.
Listen, I am here for all of it. I kid you not. I'm telling you, that is the epitome of what determination is at its best. Okay. She let them know, not today, you're not. Not on my watch, you're not. And I listen, I have watched this video so many times, guys. I am not kidding. And every time I watch it, I get I get my life every time because it's so amazing how she took action. She refused to let the system or anybody else, as far as that goes, that you're not going to step in my life and come up in here and invade my family, my grandkids. I am not having it. So when I had someone who had sent that video into me, and she was like, you need to check this video out. And I promise you, when I saw that, I'm like, I have to meet her because listen, she is giving determination. She is giving resilient, what else? Steadfast, perseverance, my God. And sometimes it is essential that you just have to refuse to take no for an answer. Even when the going gets tough and you don't know how things are going to work out. But when I watched that video, she had every reason, I mean, my God, they had stopped her at the elevator. They tried to not release her off the floor. They had called security. They had backup. They had additional nursing staff. She had every reason to be like, well, maybe I can't take this child. Maybe, I should quit. I should give up. No, ma'am. When she told him, the security officer, she let him know. He said, I need to do something. And she's like, make it fast because you're on my schedule and I'm not on yours. You know what? I listen. Every time I watch that show, that video, it gives me life. And it's just a constant reminder is that's the way that we have to be as well. Even when opposition come in our life, even when the devil come and throw his arrows and he try to, do anything he can to distract us from moving forward or from, conquering what God said is ours. I notice that most things, anything that's worth value or worth something, it's going to cost you something. It's not going to come easy. It might take some, again, perseverance. It might take you rolling up your sleeves. It might have to make you sit down and reevaluate, re-strategize, but don't stay there. Like I always mention, what my grandmother always tell me, she say, Trika, you might give out, but don't never, ever give up. Yes, the weapons will form, but they will not prosper. So that basically means that Bible verse means it's not saying that you won't have adversity. It's not saying that you won't go through challenges. It's not saying that, some days may be complicated. It's saying that just go through it. Okay. Go through the process of it. Just because it's storming on one side of the spectrum doesn't mean that you can't come out and it can be sunshine. So don't get stuck in that situation because again, why? There will be a new day. It will be another day. Even though I understand some days it feels like life is closing in on you. Like I said, since I've been doing this show on this platform, and I've shared this before, that I have been getting so much spiritual warfare attack, left and right. And some of the things I've been facing, it's like, my God, I have to sit back. It's actually some things that I had never, ever experienced on this level. But it seemed like the more you try to speak up on God and his goodness and spreading the gospel and encouraging people to give up, to not give, to give out, just to keep going and just trying to breathe and bring life into a situation, arrows will form. And they have been forming. But the beauty of it is, even though while they're forming, I know that they will not prosper. And that's Bible, that's scripture, that's word. So sometimes when you feel like you in your lowest moments, I tell people all the time, sometimes find a scripture to read to encourage your own self. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Sometimes you have to get to yourself and sometimes just take a break, take a breather and just be like, God, I know that this is not my final ending of my life. I know this is not the final story of my life and my children's life. I always share on here also, don't put a period where there should be a comma. Why? Because your story is not done being written. Sometimes if you watch movies like I do, sometimes it gets when they get in the very plot, in the thick of certain scenes, that's where the most or worse challenges and obstacles take place. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, are they going to make it out of this? Is he going to survive? But all of a sudden, you just see out of nowhere a silver lighting come about. A person that appears out of nowhere, a phone call, a text, an email, and it changes literally the whole entire trajectory of what the plot and the storyline was. And I say that to say this: I can tell you, even though it was years ago when I dealt with my CPS encounter for nearly a year, and they took it out as long as they possibly could, really without any necessary merit or warrant of doing so. But thank God I had an attorney that knew how to fight CPS. She knew the laws were pertaining to CPS. She was aggressive, and she was willing to do the work and fight for me and my child to be reunified. And guess what, y'all? We were. She supplied substantial, credible evidence. Like I shared before, even the judge says she couldn't even touch it. And the judge is the one who makes the final decisions. So knowledge is power. I strongly recommend. CPS is normally a giant that you really normally can't fight by yourself. Some people have and been successful. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but I'm just saying statistics normally show the more resources and the more assistance you have, like an attorney, or even if it's a paralegal, even if you're studying yourself, going to the law library, reading up. You should be doing that anyway, because I know that's what helped me. But also, I was, by the grace and mercy of God, I made a sacrifice and was able to hire an attorney. And because of that sacrifice, I do believe it was a strong part of the equation of why my child was able to be returned. Because a lot of those laws, I didn't know those laws, guys. And I tried to represent myself. And I knew that common sense eventually told me, okay, I think you're dealing with something a little bit above your pay grade. It's a little bit more than what meets the eye. So, and that's okay. That's why people are in positions. That's why doctors go to medical school. That's why lawyers go to law school. They're going to school to get the knowledge, to get the understanding, to gain the experience, to know how to fight these CPS cases for you. That's their job. And I say, if you can, please plug in and let that be of your assistance. Because I assure you, with her knowledge, it definitely quickly turned that case around in my favor. So I will always tell you to keep God first, to stay encouraged. That's the reason why I'm doing this show today. And this will not be a long segment. I just wanted to show you that video to give you a great example of what it takes and what determination looks like, what perseverance looks like, what is refusing to give up looks like, what refusing to just give in looks like. Them people came with her, multiple people, with all kind of reasons of why that she could not take that baby. But guess what? She left with that baby. Why? Because she didn't quit. She didn't take no for an answer. She didn't accept their excuses of what they think this should be. She stood her ground. She knew her rights. She even mentioned that you are not going to violate our rights. You cannot hold us against their will. And by law, they can't. I'm not no attorney, but I am a mother that know what it's like to fight for someone you care and you love, and you're willing to do whatever it takes until that child is back at home where they belong. And I just thought that video spoke some complete passion, endless passion and determination. She even told some people, don't talk, let me talk. And even telling the security, if you speak, address me, sir. Listen, sometimes that's what it takes to let people know that you mean what you say, and you say what you mean. So don't never feel like you can't speak up for yourself. You have rights, and don't allow no one to violate those. You have every right to speak up for you and your children. Okay. And with that being said, I just want to share also that, like I said, today is going to be a show. We're getting ready to go into the weekend. Today is also Friday, Freedom Friday. I just want to share with you some encouragement, some continued motivation. Again, speaking of determination, I just want to share what the definition means. It is a positive emotional feeling that involves persevering towards a difficult goal in spite of obstacles. Okay. Determination occurs prior to goal attainment and serves to motivate behavior that will help achieve one's goals. For example, I also believe sometimes when you share your own personal story, testimony, however you want to word it, people can easily connect to something that's real, something that you have truly experienced versus you just telling me something that you heard or seen. It took me 5 attorneys to get to the attorney that I felt had my child and myself best interests at heart. Okay. It took me doing the work, doing the research, applying myself. Okay. So that's what determination means. It means, in despite of difficult obstacles, that occur, determination occurs prior to goal attainment and serves to motivate behavior that will help achieve your goal. My overall ultimate goal was for my child to be back in his room, not in a foster care's room, not in a government's room, not in a stranger's room, in his room, in his own personal surrounding. So in order for me to obtain that goal, I had to do the work, which included services that they ask you to go to. I have never done drugs in my entire life, but I was consistently being asked to go and take drug tests. And guess what? I did them. At this point in time, like I say, this was years ago. Okay. So much has changed. COVID, all these other things that's transpired, taking place. The world has changed. Let's be honest. So now I would even, hearing some of the, false positive narratives. I've had someone that personally reached out to me and said that she had taken a drug test and some kind of way her test didn't come back clean. And she had never done drugs before. So knowing that there could be in any type of way of a negative positive result, which obviously is confusing because it can't be negative and positive. I would strongly recommend, again, you seek legal counsel on what to do regarding that matter, because that is something that I know people, honestly, even guests previously on the show have been a victim to that. And they're still to this day trying to prove themselves. So I would definitely tell you, seek wise legal counsel regarding that. But again, the ultimate goal, like I mentioned, is to do your services. I've even had, that's what I love about having my guests on this platform, because I've actually had one guest that stands out with me, and she shared that she had a caseworker who was a great caseworker. Some caseworkers really do have integrity. The ones that do not, those are the ones I don't have a problem with calling out. But if you are working out of integrity, if you are doing your job, trying to help your client and reunite them and their children back together, then kudos to you. Thank you for being a person of integrity. And they are good people. That's with CPS. Again, there are a lot of bad ones, which, what they say, the bad apples do spoil the barrel, which is true. It spoils the bunch, but I'm speaking in reference to the good ones. And my previous guest shared that actually her caseworker was so good. She helped her to identify within her own self some problems that she didn't even realize she was having. She didn't even see it until her caseworker said, hey, by taking these classes, which is, very similar to counseling, it will help you, make like coping mechanisms, coping skills. It's just things that make you reevaluate how you do things interacting with your children. And she admitted that class actually helped her. It helped her to be a better person. And also the blessing of that is because she did, take the classes, she became engaged, she became connected to the services. She now, I want to say her child is back in the process of being returned back home. So again, that is the importance of integrity. If you have a caseworker that is doing the right thing, normally they are in the game to help you regain custody of your child back again. So again, once you really do the services, you do the work, if it's something that is not, harming you or your children, anything that your best interest is at stake, I would recommend you do the work, if it's nothing that's harmful to you. That's what it means to be determined. Even though, like I said, I've never done drugs in my life. Why in the world would I have to take a drug test? But I did it to help prove that the person that you're trying to claim me out to be, it is another false narrative. And every test that they gave me, and they were at random, every one of them were passed. And my attorney advised me to take the test. So again, I just can't emphasize enough how important it is to not give up, to stand the test. I got my picture on the back, kneel to God and stand up to everything else. And I honestly didn't even plan. I didn't even realize how that coincide, but it does. Keep God first, kneel to God, take your problems, your burdens to him, kneel to him. But when adversity comes your way, when CPS are saying you're not a fit parent, when CPS are saying that you don't have what it takes to be a mother to your child, stand up to them and prove them wrong. Okay. That's all the point. That's the point I'm trying to make with this. And again, I won't be before you long. I just want to give something to hopefully encourage you and motivate you, whether you're dealing with CPS, whether you're a grandparent or just a family member, just want to get involved to know what it's like for these families going through CPS. And I can tell you a lot that they were dealing with a lot mentally, emotionally, financially, physically. The support that you can provide to them at this time is just showing your care, that you care and you're there for them and their children. And prayerfully, if it's an option where the children can be placed with you and you're able to take that child in, that would be even better. Because I think any child is better not being in foster care, and they're better off being with their own family. It's my experience. And also statistics show that as well. So that would definitely show that you're willing to help and help do what your family member needs to bring that child back in to your family and to his parents and to the grandparents or whomever, it might be. So with that being said, I also want to mention resilience. What does it look like to be a resilient person? Resilience is about how we basically how well we're able to cope, adapt or bounce back when we experience hardships of trauma. Now, I have said before, and I continue to say, when I came from out of CPS, I did honestly feel traumatized. I'm not going to lie, I did, because there's so many psychological things that they take you through. And many people, I really honestly felt too, that it's almost like they try to see if they can wear you out. See how much are you willing to take? What is it going to take you to break and to give up and give in? But you know what? You got to keep that in mind, that the devil can't take you out, but he will be willing to do whatever it takes to try to wear you out. So when I kept that in mind, I'm like, I am not quitting. I refuse to give up and give out. That is what resilience looked like. I had a CPS worker to tell me, you overcame. You have overcame. I've had one she even told me, you got another attorney? Absolutely. I will get, whatever it takes for me to win my case. And I refuse to quit. I refuse to give out. You might, like I say, you might give out for a little while, but don't you never give up. And that's the difference of being resilient. And again, resilience is important for everyone. Why? Because it is especially important for people who care in caring roles such as medical, community services, family violence, or disaster relief sectors. These are normally the people that wear the hats that have to be resilient when they're normally are facing jobs that requires a lot. A lot of challenges and a lot of obstacles. Just think if your medical staff say, you know what, these patients are too much for me today. I can't do this. These are licensed souls that's depending on your medical health. You have to have thick skin sometimes. You really, really do. And I just want to share that as well. As I begin to get ready to end this segment today, and I'm hoping that it will encourage you, it would inspire you to not give up on fighting for your children. Please don't quit. Please don't give up. Like that grandmother at that hospital that tried to take that new innocent baby. She said, not on my watch. This baby is going home with me. I don't know what y'all used to or what y'all heard of, but Kevin Hart, the comedian, said, you're going to learn today. This is not going to happen on my watch. And I love her perseverance. I love that she was determined to not give up in spite of all the obstacles that she was faced with. Think back to that video whenever you come into a place, whether it's CPS, whether it's something on your job or just in life in general, that think about her perseverance, that she didn't lay in what they tried to stop her at. She got back up and she started fighting for her rights, and she knew her rights. And she was able to tell them that. And honestly, when she said that, it wasn't nothing they could say, because why? She was right. You cannot violate no one's rights. And we all have our rights, our constitutional rights. And the more you know, the better it is. I've always said, another weapon to me, people cannot lie to you about what you know. When you know what they know, the whole game changes. Trust me, it does. So keep that in mind as well. The biblical aspect I like to share before we end the segment today is the word called steadfast. Steadfast is basically a word in the original Hebrews. It refers to God, devout, loving kindness, mercy, and faithfulness at the very core of God's character and his actions. God is steadfast. He's an example in itself of what steadfast looks like. Okay. Therefore, his love is steadfast, it's unwavering, it's faithful, and it's kind. That means, you can cast your burdens on God all day, and he's not going to say, wait a minute, okay, you passed your numbers. You didn't met your quota. No, ma'am. He say, cast your burdens down. No, sir, cast your burdens down on him, and he can handle it. And you can trust him too. That's what I do. And that's what helped me to overcome CPS and get my child back home. Okay. So I'm telling you what I use because it works. And it worked for me. I am a living example of that. So with that being said, so steadfast is to be firmly fixed and not subject to change. You're not easily removed. Like the lady in the video, he said, oh, no, you're not taking that baby. She's like, oh, yes, I am. She didn't just go by what they said. Action speaks louder than words. She refused to listen to what they said. And guess what? Her baby went home with his family where he deserved to be. Okay. So again, steadfast, to be firm in belief and determination, and to be loyal and faithful, not wavering, not lukewarm, steadfast, being, refusing to give up, willing to take on the fight. Sometimes people, they see you have the character that you're not easy to be persuaded, they will back off. They realized that lady was not leaving unless she had that baby with her. They had no choice. Okay. So again, it's important to continue the efforts to do or achieve something despite life's difficulties, failures, or oppositions, to remain steadfast. That's the word I want you to hold on to, is to be steadfast no matter what challenges and obstacles you may face in life. Be like Jesus. He represents steadfast all by himself. Okay. So keep that in mind. And I want to end too by saying what makes a person persevere. Okay. Perseverance is sticking with things. It means being hardworking and finishing what has been started, which means not to give up. Put yourself with your CPS case. This is what you should do. And I'm going to read it again. Perseverance is sticking with things. It means being hardworking and finishing what you started, despite the barriers and the obstacles that arise. The pleasure received from completing tasks and projects is very important to those who are high in perseverance. That means staying the course, not giving up, educating yourself, learning what these laws mean, learning what it means for you not to have your rights being violated. Okay. Doing your services that, within reason and your counsel attorney have advised you it's okay to do, preparing yourself, your mind, body, and soul, taking care of yourself, loving on yourself, self-care, whatever that looks like. Self-care doesn't have to be expensive. Self-care can be just going to a movie, just taking a walk, getting some woosah time, enjoying your weekend, some quiet time, a nice snack, just, keeping your mind, body, and spirit and your soul healthy through the process of CPS, through life, period. Okay. I love the fact that this statement says, live again, and just know that the pain you feel today will be the strength you feel tomorrow. Okay. So I'm going to leave and end our show today on that note. Please continue to keep God first. Keep fighting for your children. They're depending on you. They're counting on you. And what's even better, you can do it. You can persevere. Many people have done it. I've done it. And I know you can do it as well. So again, thank you for tuning in to the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show. I hope you have a great Friday. Stay safe. Keep God first. And don't never give up for fighting for your children. I am your host, Latrika Jones. Have a great weekend.